Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Stock. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Today I'm bringing 3 stocks to you that I've talked about before, but they're ones that I think are reaching another interesting point, ones that would present us some short-term opportunities and possibly some long-term investments. So I want to take a look at them, talk about what's going on with them currently in the markets, and see how I think that they're going to play out from here, and see what the forward outlook is for them. So without further ado, let's get ready to rock. Welcome back. For those of you who are interested, down in the description is a link to my Patreon. By going over there, you get access to my portfolios, the growth portfolio, the dividend portfolio, the weekly newsletter that I have there, also the weekly watch list of stocks that I create along with my patrons, those patrons who would like to also add to that watch list of stocks. Those are also over there. There's also a private Discord where we talk about stocks throughout the week and help each other find different investment opportunities as the week plays out. That link for Patreon is down in the description. Thanks ahead of time for that. Also down in the description is a link for WEBULL. By signing up and depositing $100, you get 2 free stocks. I get 2 free stocks for the referral, so thank you ahead of time for any support that you guys show, even if it's just watching these videos. I really appreciate it. The last thing, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button, share it with your friends. Let's get on to the stocks. Alright, the first stock that I have for you is Alpine 4 Holdings, the ticker symbol ALPP, and you can see they had an astronomical day today, up about 28.45%, and they've had a rough go of it like a lot of the growth stocks have. This is an OTC stock, but something that you should know, if you don't know it already, is that they have filed for uplisting to the NASDAQ. In one of my previous videos on ALPP, I talked about what it will take in order for them to be able to accomplish that uplisting. Typically, I believe the window is about 6 to 8 weeks. Well, that window is looking more like 12 to 18 weeks for stocks to be reviewed to be uplisted to the NASDAQ. So that for ALPP, if they're within that window, lands us sometime in May, all the way till sometime. It could even be out as far as sometime in June, mid to late June. Looks like could be the window for us. There are people who are anticipating that that'll happen sooner than later. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where for sure. We're outside of that typical window. The COVID-19 pandemic, I guess, has a backup on these uplistings. So we're waiting to see if this is going to play out for Alpine 4. But with that uplisting comes a lot of buying. And so there's a lot of people anticipating that when Alpine 4 Holdings is uplisted to the NASDAQ, that there will be a lot of purchasing that goes into it, and that we should also see a price push upward on that. And if we take a look at the 6-month chart, you can see back here in December that it peaked out somewhere around $4.40, and then over here in January, $4.46, and then we had a big spike in between where it went up. I believe that at one point we were up over $9 per share, and we don't really see it too well on this chart. It looks like it's offering us around $8.51 or so, but then if we come over here, $4.56 puts us about where these 2 previous highs were, and this one's not quite as high as the others, but it's right around that same sort of ballpark, somewhere in the low to mid 4s that we have. And so with the next day or two could be really important for Alpine 4. You can see in some of the instances where we had the quick run up like we did back here, that we had a quick run up, and then it took a little bit of breathing room, and then it took another quick run up. And the reason that I'm not showing this on WEBULL is that WEBULL had just a little bit of an issue today. I've noticed with at least 2 different OTC stocks where it didn't update the pricing. So I'm trying to find an answer to that. We can take a look at the candles. It just wouldn't show this last day very well right here. However, we might have more room coming over here, especially if we anticipate a little bit more of that hype going in. And also with that uplisting coming along, we really could see some of these previous highs, at least that initial excitement, come into it the day that it's uplisted. So if you don't have a position, it might not be too late. For people who are lucky enough to get back in when this was like 5 cents a share, I mean, congratulations, because $100 at 5 cents a share would be worth, I mean, at $5 a share, later on, that would be $10,000. So congrats to anybody who is in back that far. I've only been in this since around $2 or so. and then I've also bought in shares and dollar cost averaged up from there a little bit. And so right now I'm just on this side of the green right now for Alpine 4, but I don't think that is too late, especially the uplisting taking place in the future. I expect them to be uplisted, so be on the lookout for that. And if we see this quick spike up again, that might be an opportunity for me to sell, wait for it to settle a little bit, and then buy back in. We'll see what takes place. But I just wanted to bring this one to your attention, so that way you had it, just in case it was one that you're either watching, that you're invested in, or one that you're thinking about taking a position in. Speaking of stocks that have had a rough go of it recently, ChargePoint has had just these rapid rises and falls. It looks a lot like it did back here, but at a lower price point than what we had before. And if you look at the lows that we have, they're all around that $19 to $20 range. I don't know that we'll dip down back that far on ChargePoint, but what we want to see in this climb, we want to see this thing level off a little bit. It is nice that this high right here is lower than this most recent high that we've had, and it would be nice to watch this climb even further to set a new high. And these lows, we want to see the lows start to also move up with them. If nothing else, we want to see this trade sideways for a while, settle down, give us some baseline to deal with for their price. So watching this for more buying opportunities. For me, I'm long on ChargePoint. My dollar cost average is actually quite high, but it's a fairly large position within my growth portfolio already, so it's not something that I added to bring my dollar cost average down, because it would have really dipped even heavier into my ability to diversify, and I didn't want that limitation on me. So for this one, I'm holding on to it. It'll be a long time before I can make my money on it, but I wanted to bring it to your attention so you could take a look, see what you thought, and if you see this going up in the future, if you see this trading sideways for a while, that would be a good thing. Really, that infrastructure plan and whatever the EVs do, that strength that we're looking for is really going to tell us more about what we'll see in the future for ChargePoint. Being the leader, having the economic mode that they do, things should turn out really well in the next few years for ChargePoint. So that's one that we'll have to watch as it plays out. And like I said, we would love to see this thing settle down, trade sideways for a while, give us a nice baseline to rely on, and then from there we would know how to play our cards better, at least in the near term on ChargePoint. As a long-term hold, this company I can see good things for in the future, and as long as they can continue to control the market share, then they could continue to be leaders. And so these are the reasons why, for me, that I'm invested in ChargePoint, and this is just what I see in the chart so far. One thing that is really good right now is the fact that the volume has been up recently on ChargePoint, and a lot of times you'll see that price follows volume, so we'll see hopefully some more volume spikes, and we would like to see higher highs or trading sideways for a while. We really don't want to retest these lows that we've had in the past few weeks. So finally, one that I'm excited about is Palantir, and what I wanted to show you on this one is the consolidation that we have. You can see the tapering off in the volume. You can see that we have a high here and then a lower high, and then we have this really low low, and then we have higher low, slightly higher low. This price is starting to settle, and if I put the Bollinger Bands on here, the thing that I like about this is that since Palantir hit the markets, where we had this sideways trading here and then it really took off for a while, you can see the Bollinger Bands expanding. And when you touch the top Bollinger Band, that's 2 standard deviations away from the mean. And so when you go outside of it, that can signal that it's going to pull back down, because you get to these really unusual prices. And then when you see it narrow again, that can be the signal that another breakout is on the way. It doesn't tell you what direction the breakout will happen, but you can see here it narrows, and then all of a sudden we have another breakout, and then the price rips up, rips back down towards the mean, and then as you go on, look over here, look how narrow these bands are getting. I think that we're on our way to a breakout with Palantir as we continue. And what you can see here, this is the 20-period moving average, and you can see that we've broken up above that again, which can serve as support. And you can see that we haven't crossed over, but we're heading up towards that highly unusual. But with a consolidating like this, with that volume tapering off the way that it is, I think that we're due for a breakout. Palantir reports earnings on May 11th. So that's a date that you want to mark. If we consolidate until then and then we get a beat on earnings, we could see a really strong movement in the stock price. I don't know if we'll have a breakout prior to that point in time, if there'll be other near-term catalysts that happen, but it's just something that we're going to watch out for. Let me turn those off for a moment and toss up the EMA 200. and also the 50-period moving average. And you can see with the 50-period moving average that's coming down towards the 200 EMA, which is still moving upward, and our prices are still up above the 200 EMA. So we're still on the bullish side of that, but we're underneath the 50-period moving average, so on the bearish side of that. We're right now touching the 50-period moving average that we have. And so that can act as resistance, and maybe with that breakout, that would be the thing that we're going to do. The thing that sets us from breaking the resistance is that we could have that breakout incoming sometime soon. If the price does resist and this drops back down, we want to see it either hit the same low or stay slightly higher, so we can see that sideways trading for a while and really just kind of settle down price-wise, so that we have a nice entry point for this to trade in. If you are looking for entry points, this thing looks like it's been swinging low to around $21 according to these lows, and a little bit lower than that. So if it came down again, maybe to the 21.50 mark or something like that, maybe it retests 21, and we'll see what happens with these highs. But for me, I see that consolidation happening. I see the narrowing with the Bollinger Bands here. I'll toss them back up there for a moment for you. And like I said, oftentimes this can be a signal for us that there's a breakout incoming, that we could see a volume spike and a price spike, but that price could be sharply upward or sharply downward. Remember that the direction is not implied alone by the Bollinger Bands, but following a consolidation, you get those breakout periods. So let me summarize. ALPP, we're waiting for that news of the NASDAQ uplifting. That should be a priced catalyst, and the day that happens, I expect there to be a big pop in their price, and it's one that I am choosing to take advantage of. Should it happen the way that I expect it to happen, and I would like to try and sell out near the top, even if I can't catch the top, because time in the market can be a pretty difficult thing to do. But then I also, because I do like the company, fundamentally speaking, buying back in when the price settles a little bit and hoping to take a little bit of profit right along with me. So a little bit tricky. Sometimes it doesn't work out in my favor, but a lot of times it does. So that's just something that I plan to do with Alpine 4 Holdings as we go forward. Charge point, we would really love to see the price settle down. I don't know that we'll see sub 20 again. I think that we'll be stuck right around the low to mid 20s for a while, that we're just going to see the price oscillating for a while. I would love to see it just settle. So that way it's not so traumatic watching the different prices happen. I'm okay holding the bag on this one for a while, because I think in the long run I'll end up winning out overall. Finally, Palantir, PLTR, their earnings are on May 11th. I don't know that we'll consolidate until then. I feel like something's going to happen to cause the price to break one way or the other sooner or later. So we'll watch for that to happen. I really would be okay if it consolidated until then, and I would absolutely love to see a huge beat on their earnings. Right now it's around 3 cents to 5 cents, I believe, for the quarter, or where the estimates are coming in. So we would like to see go well above that. If they doubled it would be phenomenal, but that'd be a pretty huge beat. So we will watch and see what takes place as May 11th comes around for Palantir, for their earnings going forward. And I really think that as long as they can get into the smaller markets, as soon as they get down to a smaller entry point for businesses to be able to use their services, and I believe that they're moving in the right direction. I believe that they're actually offering their services. I believe that that's the direction that they're taking now, is moving their services so that they're more accessible, and so that way it can provide more revenue to them, more of that top line growth by expanding, by taking a larger part of the market share. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you guys for attending. I really appreciate it. If you want to check out the Patreon, that link is down in the description. The link for WEBULL, if you want to sign up, deposit your $100 and get your 2 free stocks, that link is also down in the description. If you haven't subscribed and you'd like to, that subscribe button's there. Hit the like button, hit the notification bell, share it with your friends. Remember, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research and due diligence. Contact a financial advisor before making any financial decisions. I'm Dr. Stock. Thanks for rocking with me. Now go get that money.